All right. Welcome to Freedomstein Laboratory. Today is December the 2nd, 2025. And right out of the gate, we got to go with Candace. She is back on fire, back from her Thanksgiving vacation. Last night, she put out another episode. I listened to it today. And wow, who would have thought that you could connect everything that she was finding out about the Macrons and the French and the French Foreign Legion to Charlie Kirk's assassination? I mean, it's fascinating. One of the names that came up for her was DuPont or DuPont. I don't know how they would say that in French, but we know the DuPont family over here in America. They controlled a lot of things. Aren't they like one of the top 13 families that control stuff? Like, I don't remember what they call them, but the elite globalists that are controlling everything behind the scenes. I think the DuPonts were one of the families that was part of all of that. So it's just fascinating to find out that their family owns the buildings in Wilmington, Delaware that have, the FBI in them, the DEA, Candace's lawyers. Then we also find out that the Macron's lawyers are right across the street. They're also in a building that's owned by the French. Supposedly the FBI isn't in the building where Candace's lawyers are. They're in another building down the road a little ways, but that's owned by the French too. And then she peeled back the layers of this onion to where the reason why a lot of the names in Wilmington, Delaware are French is because the French had a very strong presence there. So isn't it interesting that they still do? But what I wanted to hit on is, obviously I was looking at some of her stuff over on X, and I wanted to share one of the more recent things that she had posted there. So let me get this up for you guys so that you can see it if you haven't already. Here we go. So this was from this morning, 8:30 this morning. She said, I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. So I'm looking forward to hearing her talking about this today. I now can say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of Turning Point USA and some of the very people who eulogized him on stage. Yes, I will be naming names and providing evidence for my claims. And I am making a personal plea to every well-meaning person who donated to this godforsaken organization to request a refund. You were lied to, and leadership knew. Andrew Breitbart, who is the spokesperson for TPUSA and now apparently is the Charlie Kirk show too. He put out like proverbs about lying and basically trying to insinuate that Candace has lied. And the other thing I wanted to share here is that this was shared by John Mappin. And this is one of the first people who really donated to TPUSA and helped get it off the ground. And he had said, he posted that, and then with it, he put, we are particularly interested in this real Candace Owens as we personally introduced some of the most ethical and largest donors in America and the world to Charlie Kirk directly and indirectly, and we will be paying close attention to this. I am sure that these donors will be too. I've advised all my friends that are in any way connected or associated to this activity and a Turning Point in any capacity to be completely transparent without delay. As we are family friends, we have a unique insight into your sincerity and honesty, and we are in a unique position to vouch for the fact that you are not someone who would ever seek to mislead the public over any subject, despite the screams and wails of those who wish to silence you. I have also been a personal witness to your journey with Charlie, and we knew Charlie very well. One of Charlie Kirk's favorite sayings was the Latin legal maxim. I don't speak Latin, so fiat justitia ruit caelum. Let justice be done through the heavens fail. Or actually, it's let justice be done though the heavens fail or fall. I'll get it right. Let justice be done though the heavens fall. So be it. If you've put the pieces together, then Charlie would expect you to communicate them, and indeed, he would demand that you communicate them broadly to the world. Indeed, I'm sure that in his current spirit form, he is communicating that now and intending that now with his total intention. The truth cannot arrive soon enough. The world is hurting badly and it needs it. God bless you, Candace. All our love, John and Irina. So these people are standing strong with Candace. And let me see if this, here it is, the Andrew Breitbart, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. And who exactly are you speaking to, Andrew? It must be Candace. And how do we know that she's not the one acting faithfully? I actually think she is, because she really doesn't have anything to lose here other than possibly her life, a bunch of money and lawsuits and such. So, thou doth protesteth too much, I say. And we've just been seeing so much stuff now that makes us question what is going on with the funds over at TPUSA and all these businesses that all these associates with TPUSA have started. And let's put this money in this LLC and this money in this LLC. And I don't know. It's getting pretty crazy. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Candace has to say about this and actually naming some names. It's going to get pretty hot. Sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat there. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I had this post come up on my Facebook today. This is a guy I don't know, but sometimes it suggests things to you. I don't know why it thought I would be interested in this, but I actually was. And it was about somebody else who I wasn't really aware of. His name is James Rink, and he had a podcast, I think, about super soldier or something or another. And he, I think, believed that he had been a super soldier and was involved in MK Ultra, that something had happened to him along those lines. And this piqued my interest because I finished this book not too long ago. If you haven't gotten it and read it, you really must. It is fascinating. I've been following MK Ultra and researching it for, I don't know, 2 or 3 decades at this point. Know a lot about it. Jolly West. This guy had his fingers in everywhere. I mean, he talked to Jack Ruby. He was definitely involved with the Kennedy assassination. He was definitely involved, I think, with Charles Manson. A lot of us ask the question, how in the world did this lunatic Charles Manson get a bunch of people to kill for him, and not just kill, but to like turn into these butchering animals and do what they did? And the guy who wrote this, I heard him on an interview, and I think it was back in 2018, Tom O'Neill. And he really got my attention because he was talking about MK Ultra and the experimentation that they did with LSD and how they figured out that your mind becomes more pliable when you're on LSD. And he believes that Charles Manson was trained in how to do this. And then he was going out and training other people and using the LSD on them and convincing them to do something. It wasn't a cult thing, it was kind of a science thing. And I don't know. And of course, the CIA was involved in it because MK Ultra was a thing that the CIA was actually running. And one of the things that they were trying to do with MK Ultra were make these super soldiers that they could send out to do things. Kind of like you could have somebody that maybe helped you out as the CIA over in, I don't know, a place like Afghanistan. And maybe you bring that person over here and they're living in a state like, I don't know, Washington State. And then you trigger them, open them up, get that super soldier going after you've done whatever you did over in Afghanistan while they were working for you, and send them over to Washington, D.C., where they kill a guardswoman, a National Guardswoman, and shoot another guardsman, and who knows what else there was supposed to do. And yeah, so that's kind of what I think is going on there. So anyway, there was another reason why this caught my attention, but let's start with the basics first. So I want to put what I saw on Facebook up here for you guys to see. So this guy, Michael Salla, he does exopolitics, and he gets into a lot of things that I also get into. I have another podcast called The Ghost in You, which is in the History Ghost Bump feed. And I talk about the fallen angels, the Nephilim, that kind of stuff in there. And so he gets involved with a lot of that stuff too, and talking about aliens and that. Well, anyway, he posted this yesterday. Very sorry to announce that James Rink, who was a victim of MK Ultra programs designed to turn him into a super soldier and who subsequently created the popular Super Soldier Talk YouTube channel, has died of cardiac related issues at age 45. Now, let me just stop there and say it is possible for somebody, a male of that age, to have cardiac issues that could kill them. My best friend died a year ago. He was 56 and had a bad ticker, and he had his very first heart attack when he was 45. So his heart was just kind of going downhill from there. So, it is possible for this to have happened in this way. James wrote his autobiography, Lone Wolf, Alpha Squad Copy Over, in 2025, which described his difficult life and his determined research into MKUltra programs and super soldier training for secret space programs. He organized multiple conferences and online events highlighting super soldier and SSP testimonies. James and his closest supporters believe he was targeted at his last super soldier conference held in Orlando, Florida, right here a couple months ago, October 2025, by a DEW, or a DO, aimed to stimulate heart failure. James warned several conference presenters that some presenters were being targeted this way. Ironically, James had invited me to his conference, but I declined as I was still recovering from my own health issues, resulting from a similar attack at a September 2024 conference held near Denver, Colorado. And then he just goes on to talk about how James was this generous kind of guy and everything like that. What caught my attention was that DO, the heart attack machine. So I was a big fan of Andrew Breitbart. And back when the Tea Party movement was going, I got involved with a group that was involved with him as well. They were called the Big Dog Music Mafia. And our efforts were focused on taking back the culture for those of us who are more conservative, more on, right of center. And so we become friends with Andrew Breitbart because one of his main goals was culture, and everything flows downstream from that. So if you can win back the culture, you can win the hearts and minds of everybody else. And we see that with the way the kids are, things that they're taught in school these days, the programming that's on the television, and that kind of stuff. And there are people who believe that Andrew Breitbart, I think he died, he was about 45 or 46, something like that. He was what I would say too young to die from a heart attack, is just out walking on the street and just all of a sudden has a heart attack and drops dead. And a lot of people wonder if he wasn't hit with one of these DO machines. And I personally am willing to believe that. So I do believe there are such machines out there and that they can do this kind of thing. And clearly, this James Rink thought that he had been targeted as well. I just want to put up here what his book was about for anybody that would be interested in checking that out. So here this is over on Amazon, Lone Wolf Alpha Squad Copy Over. And he put this out in January of 2025. Lone Wolf chronicles the alien hybrid superior warrior program, which was first revealed by Michael Perro. Known as a MyLab or military abduction, these experiments are carried out under the direction of the covert government and off-world forces who seek to create the ultimate Übermensch, which is super soldier, basically. This is what the Nazis were looking for. A superhuman being, invincible in every way possible. Soon after this realization, I discovered my friend Nathan was not who he thought he was. When I helped him break free of his programming, all hell broke loose, leading me down a path of no return. Lone Wolf is an NSA mind control program installed to stop MK victims seeking help. I have a Lone Wolf program installed in me. The transcripts are very important to this field. And this was said by James Casbolt and Michael Prince. I'm not sure why there's a slash there, if this is like two different people. But I don't doubt that there's some kind of whatever these experiments, obviously, to make an Übermensch. But when they talk about alien hybrid superior warrior program, I don't use the term alien. I believe they're the fallen ones. These are basically dark angelic beings, and their children were the Nephilim. They came down and mated with human women, as Genesis 6 tells us. And when those Nephilim died, and a lot of them died in the flood, Noah's flood, their spirits had to go somewhere. They were unredeemable. So they couldn't go to heaven and be with God. and there really wasn't a hell. So I kind of feel like you have these souls that are just out here that need a place. We call them demons. That's what I believe demons are. They're the souls of the Nephilim. They're looking for a place to go. And I believe that this hybrid program or whatever is seeking to make bodies to put those Nephilim spirits or demons into. And I don't know that they even have to keep doing that program, because now that we have AI and everything getting ready to fire off here, I'm thinking there might be some kind of computer way that these demons can maybe go into that. Although I think they probably like a warm and wet body where they can drink and smoke and have sex and do all that other stuff, possibly. I think they would prefer that, but why couldn't they go into some kind of an AI type thing? So that might be what a lot of this hybrid program is. But I have no doubt that people who say that they've been abducted by aliens, that's what's going on there. They're seeking to make these bodies that they can put these spirits into. When I was looking up James Rink, I found this article over on Medium by Nate YPX Gray that I also wanted to share with you guys. And it shares a little bit more about what might have happened here to this James Rink. So apparently this Nate Gray has done some things with him. He has a website that used to link, or he has a website that's called Super Soldier Forum. And apparently James Rink had linked to it. They had a fairly good symbiotic relationship, he's explaining. And I guess James Rink had these NeoCube meditation devices that he was selling or whatever. Anyway, what Nate has said here is, he said, I was sad to see the message below on his wall recently. So this is what James Rink had put out there. Prior to September 25th, my health was completely normal. Then suddenly my body began to swell. And on October 5th, I was taken to the hospital. My heart rate was 185 and I was in AFib. I stayed for 1 day of testing. The results showed that my liver is functioning at only 32% and my heart ejection fraction is at 57%. I was also diagnosed with Graves' disease due to extremely low TSH levels. The doctors told me I have roughly a 50% chance of surviving the next 3 months. I am now in month 2. As we know now, he has passed away. The Super Soldier Activation Conference began on October 8th, and I was released just in time to attend and keep things moving forward. Before September 25th, I lived a very healthy lifestyle. I juiced daily with lemon, celery, all the good stuff, ate primarily good stuff, rarely drank any alcohol, trained at the gym 5 days a week, cardio, calisthenics, weightlifting. There is no medical reason my liver should be in such a weakened condition. I believe years of daily MyLab injections, so that MKUltra super soldier thing, he thinks that these injections that he was getting with that took a serious toll on his body and pushed his liver to this point, which is definitely possible. Who knows what poison they were putting in him. As for my heart, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and the reduced pumping function makes it difficult to walk and talk, obviously, because all the fluid just goes down to your legs. He thinks his heart muscle is fine, but the vena cava nerve leading into the ventricles was damaged, possibly from a heart attack type weapon in late September. My thyroid readings resemble what you might expect from someone exposed to Chernobyl radiation levels. Now, as people get older, they do tend to get hypothyroidism or Graves' disease. Actually, Graves' disease means that did he say it was low? It means that everything is like going like crazy. So that would be why his heart would be pumping like faster than it should. So, because I had hyperthyroidism for a little while, and yeah, my resting heart rate would sometimes be like 140 beats a minute. That's like crazy. So I don't know, maybe that caused something with his thyroid. He got some radiation there or something, although I used radioactive iodine to shrink mine and to help fix the issue. So I don't know. But anyway, he passed away November 30th, 2025. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this super soldier thing is a thing? And again, check this book out if you have not. It just really is eye-opening as to what happened with those Manson murders, why these people acted the way that they did. And, there's a lot of people who like to use these mind altering drugs to help them with mental illness and like to go on these trips and do ayahuasca when they go down south into Central America and stuff and South America and see who they meet. And I just believe that what you're doing is opening a portal with that stuff and you're inviting bad stuff in. And there's so many people, you hear their stories when they do this, and they're so similar. They see the same kind of entities when they're over there, which makes me go, I think they're real because people aren't going to make up the same like dream or the same hallucination. It has to be real if you have a whole bunch of people saying the same thing, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, you use that stuff on these people. I don't know if these people are telling the truth. It could just be a really cool sci-fi theme and, somebody needs to make the movie. But I question everything now. And when you see how quickly they start to come on to somebody who seems to be chipping away at the truth, it just makes me believe that more. And that's why I'm still sitting over in Candace's camp because I'm like, she's chipping away at something. And these people are not happy about it. And the more you cry about, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying, just put the stuff out for us then. Show us how she's lying. Show us the financials. Show us that everything is on the up and up. There's nothing untoward here. Everything is fine. But when you just come out and you start quoting Bible verses, because then, of course, Candace has the daily Bible verses that Charlie would send to her in text messages, even though he wasn't her friend anymore. And she's just pushing back with Charlie's own Bible verses that he had put out there. So it's fun to watch. Grab your popcorn. And I want to thank you all for joining me here in the Freedom Time Laboratory today with everything percolating like it is. If you guys are enjoying what you're hearing here, please subscribe. We got 14 people so far. I'm looking for more. Come on, come on. You want to subscribe. You know you do. And if you like what I've had to say, please give me a thumbs up and I would love your comments. I really appreciate those and what your thoughts are. Have a great day.